Thank you, Sean. I should probably lower it now, but I just don't feel like it. Any minute now, I'll do it. Welcome to Vagabond Nerds. Currently sponsored by Titan Comics. Jeremy, we don't know why you love us the way you do, but it probably has something to do with me spending as much money as I do in your shop. In fact, I'm pretty sure. So, if you'll notice, Jason is not with us today because he's over in Bigfoot Land, over at the Jefferson Convention. In his place, we have the ever reliable, trustworthy, and 33% more cuter Genesis. We appreciate you, buddy, being here.
Oh, no problem.
So wait, is Bigfoot Land? Is that what we call his AA for recovering on his amphetamines?
Well, it's his domain for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I mean, I know he went real strong into the weight loss pills, and I didn't realize that. It was,
Is that what it was? To be fair, he's doing a lot of walking.
What was the name of that old? What was that old stuff? It wasn't epinephrine, was it? What was it? What was the old weight loss shit that people were taking?
The Dexatrim.
Heroin.
Was it Dexatrim? Okay, heroin. There you go.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Or both. Combination of both.
You never see a thick person on heroin. That doesn't happen.
It's an 8-ball special.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Sean, would you like to say the Titan word of the day when we're talking about what we can find at our sponsors' place?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can, having toured Jeremy's shop a few times, not enough, actually, honestly, Jeremy, as I should have at this point. But I had to do it so I could get Ray to get off his dead ass and get back in there because he wasn't going and I was going more than he was. And so he had to try to show me back up. So, but yeah, for anybody who wants to go visit Jeremy at his shop, the address is down here scrolling along the bottom, and he has aisles and aisles of glorious comic books, collections, hardbacks.
Say it.
Various statues, handkerchiefs, T-shirts,
What would all of that combine to be called?
Something
geeky, maybe.
Tremont, if you will.
And of course, you freeze right when you say mall. That's how that came over. It was great.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because that's Jason's word, and he doesn't want anyone else saying it. That's
That's probably why it happened, is because it's specifically Jason's and I'm not allowed to use it. So
he has a ton of geeky stuff, is what
he does.
Jeremy has. Just on this again, this man just took loads of my money this past weekend. But it's because you're finding a lot of good stuff, including I picked up I think it was X-Men 283, which is the first Jim Lee X-Men art signed by Jim Lee. So give you an idea of what kind of stuff they have there.
Seriously, you got the signed one? Really?
Got a signed version. That's right.
It's 283, you said? I got to look this up.
I believe so. It's 283, 383. It's one of those.
Let's take a look here. I mean, keep talking, but I'm going to look it up anyways.
But so definitely go check it out. Quick recap, Genesis, how's your last 2 weeks been? Thank you so much, by the way, for filling in and making the show the same when I was out. Now the show is 33% bigger, blacker, and uncut.
Bigger and blacker, yeah, as opposed to whiter.
Yeah.
No, everything's been good. Everything's kind of calmed down on my end, and just been busy. I got a vacation coming up, so
nice, dude.
I think we're going to Aruba. So
Bahamas, come on, pretty mama.
Yeah, okay.
You left out one. It was Jamaica.
Oh, was it Jamaica? I did leave out
Aruba, Jamaica. Yeah,
you missed one. But
way to go, Jason.
So I just been busy trying to just wrap up. You know how it is with work when you're gonna leave for a week, and it's just that kind of thing. Anybody going to the fair? They finally decided to give us a fair day. So it's next Friday. I don't know if we're going, but
That's cool.
Maybe, and if I go, it would be next Friday. That's
We're gonna have to make it a thing then. We're gonna have to make it a
might
thing.
have to, man.
Okay.
No, I've got some stuff coming up. I'm gonna go see a Pussifer show on the 19th or the 20th next week. I don't remember. And then on the 22nd, I get to go see stand-up comedian Kyle Kinane at the Addison Improv. So looking forward to those two things.
Well, you can't go to the first thing on the 20th because Black Adam, right?
Well, but see, I already have tickets. I just don't remember which day it is.
Oh, okay.
For Black Adam or for
for Pussifer. But I can't remember if it's the 20th or the 19th. I don't remember. So I think it's Thursday. I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. So
you know, I got the kiddo coming back in from college, which is always fantastic for this coming weekend. We do have Black Adam tickets.
Nice.
I've heard. I'm not going to do it on this show because I think spoilers. She will, you know, Sean and Genesis will both tell you drive me nuts. And though we do them on the show, we always preference it with, you know, turn off or whatnot. But yeah, I just I'm more anxious to see the Justice Society than I am Black Adam necessarily.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the Society looks badass, man. You know, just especially Dr. Fate and Hawkman both, and I know those are the two that they've been showing mainly, but they do look to be I would hope pretty significant roles, but if nothing else, just pleasantness. But who knows, right? Because you know, as Genesis would tell you, it is a Detective Comics movie, so you know, fingers crossed.
Hey, yeah, I mean, he's hopeful. You know, he's always hoping. You know,
yeah,
rooting
for sure.
Rooting for
him. Rooting for him. Just it's old school Justice League, right? So,
God, I hope not.
The OG Justice League, I should say.
Hope not. Do you know right now at this very moment, if you are in the DFW area in Irving, a fan expo event is taking place right now. So if you have nothing to do and they still have tickets, make it out, see some stars, see some artists, people, see some comic book creators for what these conventions were originally created for. Not that it wouldn't be nice to see someone like Stephen Amell or Matt Smith, just saying.
We're getting a booth next year. That's all I know.
Are we getting a booth? Are you announcing that here right now?
I'm announcing it. I don't know who's doing it with me. We're getting a booth somewhere next year.
All right, you heard it here first, Vagabond folks. All 0 people listening right now, we're going to have a booth somewhere. We will have our very own live Sasquatch, also known as Jason. He will be in a cage. Do not feed him. I think that's probably the pretty much the go-to on that, right?
Well, we probably
feed the animals.
We should feed him because otherwise, then it is cruelty.
Then he's just gonna get angry. And
we
wouldn't like him when he's angry.
Oh my god!
I see what you did there.
Good segue. So She-Hulk just wrapped up.
Speaking of which, right?
Everyone's up to date, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we are going to spoil this one. Just heads up on that.
Oh yeah. We're giving all this away. No holds barred on this one for sure.
All right.
So if you haven't seen it yet, you've had ample time to be warned and get ready to leave. So
that's right. So in 3, 2, 1, Genesis, what did you think of?
No way in the hell am I going first on this.
Sean, what did you think?
All right. Okay. Overall for the series, it was fun. That was it. Like, it was fun. I enjoyed the fun, right? Didn't have to have a lot of substance. Didn't have to be an Oscar-winning, meaningful thing. The end was super weird. But it also, the whole time I was watching the end, all I could think of, well, gee, this doesn't suffer from that same problem that Ray's always bitching about the third act.
The first person I thought of was Ray.
That was the exact same thing, dude. I was just like,
specifically on our, and then I tied it into our Shang-Chi conversation because that's the last one that we had, and I think we were still doing, the ANX stuff. He came over and
Yeah.
we did another show on Shang-Chi, and it was just
Yeah.
like, well, we didn't need all that stuff at the end.
And I
I
it
felt
was perfect.
I felt so justified in everything that I had said. But hats
No,
off.
justified. This is like probably one of the worst Disney Plus episodes that they have ever put out. What do you mean justified?
So
This is not justification.
Let me stress that I tolerate this show. If I do something that Genesis can never do in any of the stuff he watches, if I turn off my brain and think of it just as what it is, and it's supposed to be a comedy, I can watch this show. I didn't have any beef with how.
It's a bit of a dramedy. There's some drama there. There's not much.
I don't have any problem. I don't have any problems with the show. It's just that last episode was garbage.
Jason hated this series. He stopped watching after episode 3. I think episode 3. Yeah, hasn't watched it since then.
I'm not surprised. I mean, he compared it. He just said it was superhero Ally McBeal.
That's exactly right. And
which maybe that's a fair comparison in a way, but I don't think it was as fair because Ally McBeal was way more drama.
I had dinner with friends last night, and I'm not even kidding. The gentleman I was talking to said the
whole cast?
same thing.
Yes,
it's
his other podcast called Dinner with Friends that he doesn't invite us to because he doesn't like us.
I'm calling Jason. I don't want you guys there on the other podcast.
Oh, okay.
But no, so I'm talking to them, and we're at dinner, being complete nerds. But the gentleman across from me said the exact same thing. He was like, "It's Ally McBeal." He goes, "I don't mind the show." He goes, "But I'm not necessarily caring about the show either," which again, it's fair. But they loved the last episode. I will tell you right now, I love the last episode because, to Sean's point, it's stupid, it's absurd. But I do appreciate Marvel calling out all of their tropes. And I appreciate the fact that it was like, we know we're formulaic.
I honestly think that the last episode would be Jason's favorite episode. I think if Jason had made it all the way through this series and had gotten to this episode, he would have been sitting on the couch going, "Yes, thank you, exactly." Like I could see him yelling at the TV in his dad voice with all his kids around, going, "Dad, chill. It's a show. Like I can easily see it happening."
I called him after I finished watching it. And I said, "You got to watch the last 2 episodes. I know you don't like this." I said, "But trust me, every complaint that you've had about this, they knew, And is it normal in any sense to Genesis' point? No, it's not. So you shouldn't have your main character go into the writer's room and start complaining about what they're doing."
So let me just ask, okay. So did I like the last episode as far as like a season finale? No, I didn't. Was it funny? Yes.
Was it funny or was it just ironic?
No,
yeah, both.
Maybe that's a better word for it though. Is that like it was a little bit more irony and a little bit more like, hey, let's call ourselves out on this. We know like Ray said, we know we do this all the time. We know we're formulaic, And I think the problem with it though is, and this is what I think it speaks to as a bigger problem. We can go into this later because I know we'll cover this with probably another topic, but it is that formula that is now become the white bread. I have had a white bread sandwich every single day of my life. I always, it's white bread. Damn it. Can I get some wheat? Can I get a croissant? Can I get a freaking pretzel roll? Can I get something different? And it's just, it seems like the writers were probably legitimately sitting around in the room trying to figure out how to end this show. And somebody was just like, why don't we break the hell out of the fourth wall and do something completely stupid? Because, Gene in the corner was like, this is so dumb. We do this all the time. It's always the same thing. And somebody went, that's a really good idea. What if we didn't do that? What if we called ourselves out on it? And I kind of feel like that's what.
And then what if we call everything that we do wrong out?
And that's what I'm saying. But that's the
but
problem. That shows that they have no more ideas.
But wrong is a very strong and probably it's just probably not the right word to use about anything that's happening with MCU in general. Like you cannot see the successes that they've had over the past 10 plus years and say that they're doing things wrong.
No,
like,
absolutely.
That's not
absolutely. That's not what I said.
No,
that's not what I said.
No, no, that's what Ray said.
Eternals
but no, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. Eternals is not your white bread. That movie is not the same of any other movie that they have ever put out. So
Eternals was a shit taco. That's what Eternals was.
Hey, don't say shit taco.
Can't stand. Now, I will say this about Eternals: it wasn't Jessica Jones. But it was close.
I didn't connect with Eternals. That's like one of the ones I just didn't connect with. It was a movie that I think could have been done better if it was a two-parter and actually built up the characters a little bit more and gave me more connection to them.
Or if that was a Disney Plus show.
Or if that was a Disney Plus show, maybe I feel like Eternals would have been better for me that way. Yeah, but it's all on how you take in the information, right? It doesn't mean the movie was necessarily a failure or a bad movie. I know that Eternals had some, highlights. There were moments that I really enjoyed watching it, you know what I mean? And there were some interactions between the characters that I really liked, and I wish they had been able to do more. So I guess with Eternals, I would have liked to have seen more of it over a larger time span to try to absorb it all. But with Eternals
suffered the same problem. Genesis is gonna freak out about what I'm about to say, but Eternals suffered the same problem that the Batman did. It doesn't need to be in that movie format over that long period of time. There's stuff that you could have either cut up, or you could have had that show as opposed to the movie. I love the Batman, but I'm going to be biased, right? I absolutely will be. That's because I'm a huge Batman fan. But Eternals, if I look back on it objectively, there, Genesis, Sean, to your point, there were plenty of good moments. Angelina Jolie and what's his name? Those two.
That would
have loved to have seen more.
One of my favorite interactions out of the whole team was her dealing with that mental breakdown, that illness that she has. That whole, I've been alive for too long situation. And that was an interesting aspect. I wish they had delved more into that. Hell, they could have given more characters that problem, and maybe that was all of them breaking down, and they were trying to get to the end and save the world before they all deteriorated and could no longer survive and help. Like,
they'll make a better movie, Sean.
Sorry, I won't.
So going back to it, so Genesis, when you look at that last part, and you're seeing those last 15 minutes of She-Hulk.
We talk
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Okay.
So when you're looking at those last 15 minutes, what's going through your mind?
So at first it was funny until it didn't stop, and then the show went off, and then I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is terrible. This is horrible. And I actually think the people who think that this is probably a good thing, or this is what they've been wanting, I actually think they're not making fun of themselves. I think they're actually making fun of you guys.
Oh, 100%.
Because now they put out exactly what you wanted, and it was trash. And this is what you want. Okay, this is what we're going to give you, and this is the stupidest thing that anyone could possibly do. And then they put it out for consumption.
But you just said it yourself, though. If they're acknowledging what they feel are their detractors, who may or may not have good or bad taste, they still get the end result. They still win, because now they've
what they're doing is what people don't like with Captain Marvel. What they're doing is what people hated about She-Hulk. What they're doing is what people actually hate about Eternals, which is, let's represent everyone. So now they're throwing you in the same category as the LGBTQ plus community. They're throwing you in the same category with women and women in power. They're like, hey, these people over here for some reason don't want big battles at the end of a superhero movie, so let's give them no battle and nothing and just turn it off because that's what they want.
Or
Okay, here,
let's
have
start a
some.
battle. Let's start a battle and then call them out on it, and then change everything
Yeah,
and
here you go.
pretend to give them what they asked
Have
for.
something for you.
Which, by the way,
But
this would have been a much more interesting show had she shown up. There was a bit of a scuffle, not too much, just a bit of a scuffle. They catch the guy, and then they go through trial. Like, that would have been more interesting because that would have been in line with the show itself. They didn't do that. And that takes you out of the whole idea that you have to have this big crazy battle. No, now we're in Law and Order territory, and there's an arrest, and then you go to the court, and then you see them fight it out, and maybe the judge starts going, I don't know, we could see it in his favor. You're a superhero. You have all these advantages. It could be very interesting, but they didn't do that.
You didn't like the fact that they ended on the Fast and Furious dinner scene?
So
all I could sit there and do was just shake my head. I'm like, oh, I really do hate this part.
I have to ask the question because I want to know. I know how I feel about it, but I want to know, Genesis. I want to know your thoughts on this because I know that you already don't like the episode, but I'm wondering your thoughts on a change if they had made it. Like, let's say they went this route. Let's say they broke fourth wall. She climbs through the front of my TV, knocks a hole through Thor: Love and Thunder, and goes, or whatever the hell it was she did, and goes in there and does her thing, right? If Kevin had actually been Kevin Feige, would that have saved any of this a bit?
No, I think it would have made it worse for me. And I will bring up a game called Death Stranding. If it's really a horrible, it's a horrible game. I'm glad that the people on Xbox side gets to have this horrible
experience it.
horrible experience. But what happens in the beginning of the game is that they keep. I'm
good.
Kim.
Okay. What happens in the beginning of the game is they keep saying the name of the person who made the game, and his name slips my mind at this point because it was just over and over and over.
Was it Hideo Kojima, something like
Kojima?
That?
Kojima. Yeah. A Kojima game. Oh, Kojima production.
Yeah, they
written by Kojima. It was 10 times and they're just showing grass at this point. Grass and mountains, and it's just his name pops up like 10 times.
Visually, it looked amazing at the time.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah,
but it was just like, what is happening here? It's just all about you. So I would have probably had that feeling specifically. I was pleasantly surprised that it was just a robot because I was gonna be like, oh, this would be cringeworthy if it was actually him. Gotcha. It would have been kind of cringe for me.
I will agree with that. When they showed that it was the AI program, I just like, of course it is.
And that's what I was going to ask you is, do you think that is their dig on? I mean, obviously that Kevin Feige being the helm, all these things, that he is just a robot and he's just robotically going through the motions. Ray, I mean, is that?
Yeah, it was more of a, hey, the guy that we put out there is just a meat bag. To show you people, but it's really this AI program that we have in the long run.
I think it definitely was still a tip of the cap to him. The fact that you have this person in real life who operates like a machine would and computes everything, right?
Yeah,
and is able to put together all of this successful, big, huge franchise for all of these years. So I think it was a tip of the cap, but I think they did that part right if they were going to do it. I just don't think they should have done it.
I appreciated what they did. It doesn't elevate the quality of the show to this point for me, but I absolutely, hands down, She-Hulk was a show that I would watch. I'd chuckle at a couple of things and I'd move on. Honestly, it's felt like a more common season or a new season of either The Simpsons or Family Guy. Funny points, they're kind of there. It's hit and miss every episode. That's how I was feeling about this.
Comparing it to The Simpsons, that's rough, dude.
It's one of those things where there's going to be some funny moments.
Yeah.
To Genesis' point about them dragging out the end, it was trying to be Family Guy in that sense, where let's take something that's funny, play it so long that it's not funny, but then we're playing it so long it becomes funny again.
Well, let's
Yeah.
let's also not miscategorize what the show is. It was a action comedy, so let's
Yeah.
just not
Right.
rate it based off the fact
Right.
of it's a comedy and it wasn't always real funny, so therefore it was just okay.
No,
Well,
I'm
it was an action. It was an action comedy. It was a
Yeah.
superhero comedy. So
Mhm.
there's that. There's a whole other section of elements there that need to be processed when we're talking about if it was a good show or not.
Yeah, and again, for me, it was an okay show. That's how I would view it. Jason, I think, would view it as it was a bad show for him.
So let me make my hot take of the day, and I'm not specifically talking about Ray or Jason because I haven't had a deep conversation with them about this show. All these other idiots on the internet who have a problem with this show simply because there's a woman who's stronger than you and smarter than you
Yeah.
and faster than you. All of you idiots who have a problem with that, get your feelings out of it. Here's the
Yeah.
deal: you don't have to enjoy the show. You got to get your feelings out of it. You don't have to enjoy the show to admit that it was a good show. And what I mean by this is just because it's not made for you and it's not geared towards you, that doesn't make it bad. And I think that's the problem we're having with some of this stuff lately. For example, The Notebook is not made for me. The Notebook is an awesome movie.
Or most men.
But as a whole, The Notebook is an awesome movie. It is not made for me. This is not something that I would just say, hey, I want to watch this today. It's not for me, right? But it is a great movie. So all of these people who want to get their feelings and everything, it's just like, get your feelings out of it.
Wait, Genesis, one more.
So
I don't know.
What I will say about, like, I saw The Notebook. I don't even know if I watched it with somebody else. I may have just seen it on my own on TBS. But regardless, it's got the same quality as The Sixth Sense in the fact that the twist sort of at the end, whether or not you saw it coming, is amazing.
Yeah.
The way the story is told is really, really good. Now, the idea behind it, sure, it's an overblown, romantic, less than any type of accurate sort of situation you could ever deal with in real life. But so is a woman getting superpowers by, accidentally having her cousin's blood run into her arm and becoming, I don't know, a superhero. Like, it's still unrealistic. Neither one of them are. And that's the point. A movie doesn't always have to be a realistic thing for us to enjoy it.
Well, and again, it goes back to
yes, exactly, Kim. No, that's my point. That is exactly my point. That's why it's not perfect. That's why it's horrible. But the storytelling is impressive, and that's why it makes the difference.
Storytelling, the acting, the cinematography. I'm talking about whole movie. The movie as a whole.
And at the end of the day, right? We sit here. We have millions of podcasts like our own, except they're successful. That are debating these topics, but at the end of the day, it's fiction. It's fiction. Yeah. Wait, this movie doesn't make any sense. The movie about the green angry woman doesn't make sense. You don't say. You don't think a superhero could be a lawyer too? You don't say, but you love the shit out of Daredevil, Yeah,
but I did, to Kim's point, and what you were saying, Genesis, I did love the fact that they called that out in the show itself, right? I mean, this whole group of these dudes who, for lack of a better term, these incels who freak out and be like, she doesn't deserve this power just because it's like, well, she's a woman and we're men.
Mm-hmm.
You can go stick that up your butt. Like, screw yourself. You're an idiot. Like, if you really believe that, you're an idiot. Because that type of shit doesn't matter. And it's fascinating that people actually saw that in the show or saw the show and took that approach. It's like, how ignorant can you be just to respond that way? I don't know. That seems just absolutely ridiculous to me.
Well, the only thumbs up I would give those people who are responding that way is at least they're being honest. The people who make up other things that are wrong with these movies and shows when it's like not really, and the same thing can apply to all these other movies, and you're just like making up something just to be mad about. Yeah. It's like you're being dishonest and disingenuous. It's just like you don't like the show because this reason. You're just too scared to say it.
I treat it, but see, I treat this as the same thing. They're being dishonest with themselves by creating this fake thing to be scared about. And that's why I don't lend it any credence. You know, they're creating this bullshit to be scared of and to be offended by. And it's like, no, that's bullshit. If you need to learn and educate yourself, and then you won't be afraid of this anymore. And
Well,
so,
it may
you know,
be made up, but they really feel they've conditioned their brain to actually feel this way.
I know.
They
Oh,
So,
no, I know.
so
I
what
know.
what
I
they're
get it.
saying is honest as far as this is how I actually feel.
To
It's just it's like
yeah, it's
the
honest
reason
to
you feel that
themselves.
way
Yeah.
is kind of stupid, and you need to go sit down, and be quiet.
I'd take the kinda. I'd take the kinda out of
Yeah.
that sentence, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like you need to go sit. You just need to go sit down and be quiet.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
Yeah, and Kim, you're right, right? People will find an excuse to complain. It's their goal to complain. It's their goal to whine. It's
That's true.
you know
It gets more clicks.
it gets attention.
It gets more
does what-
attention, more clicks. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why we don't like leading with clickbaits because, quite frankly, one, we may never get to the damn topic. Two, we don't care enough for that.
I hold on one. That just made just the idea of clickbait just clickbait just made me think of this. I have to give a shout out to Jason for his title of our last episode. I didn't notice it until after he put it online. Jason,
What was the title of it?
good job, dude. I'm gonna let you go look it up yourself.
Okay.
But the last episode, the title, good job, Jason. Bravo, sir.
Just
and
as
then
Jake
if you-
said.
And if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it if you want to see Jason rap. Right?
Oh,
I mean, talking about a teaser.
Mhm.
thank God. Yeah. I was in a hotel just relaxing.
Yeah, you didn't watch any of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not during it. You didn't watch it live because
Yeah.
which I'm really glad because then you would have flooded the comments and you would have derailed the show because Jason can't help but take your bait.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah.
You know how to bait. You know how
My
to bait him.
milkshake
That's right. That's
brings
right.
all the Jasons to the yard.
That's right. Brings all the Sasquatch to the yard. That's
Oh
right.
my gosh. That's why
So-
he keeps asking if I'm going to go to Jefferson with him. I'm like, no.
So should we throw this out there? Happy birthday, Jason. Happy birthday, Kim. I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw
normally I
that.
would sit there and say we don't do that to you, but yeah, sure, why not? We can give a couple.
That's
shout
right.
outs for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
shout
Yeah,
out.
I didn't, Kim. I didn't know. Happy birthday
I saw it.
for you. Yeah, that's
Kim
awesome.
Kim turned
Happy
21.
birthday.
We're so
Oh,
happy.
congratulations. Hey, Kim, now you can drink
Here you go.
legally.
Yeah, we don't care about that.
Hey, I want to take this time to say that I'm not an official part of Vagabond Nerds.
The thoughts and opinions expressed by Ray do not reflect those of Vagabond Nerds.
On that note, speaking of things that have gone completely awry, so I know we or you guys talked about Blade being paused, and in the 2 weeks that we've happened, that break,
Yeah.
Are we completely stopped on Blade? I've heard the director doesn't want to do this. The writers are.
Well, the director's out.
Yeah, director's out. Said the
Director's
script was
out,
horrible.
like- And
what he was saying.
And then I've read I read, and when I say read, let's be honest. Nowadays, it's 1 or 2 sentences. That's all you usually get in an article that has any type of substance. That's something you haven't already read before. So, reading this article, the only thing I picked up out of it that I hadn't seen before was the rumor that Ali was having conflicts with the director about the script, as well as the director having conflicts with the studio about his suggestions to punch up the script. I don't know which is which, but I mean, it seems like Ali wants to be truer to the comic books than the studio does. And I think both the studio and the director had their own visions for how the script needed to be enhanced to make it more palatable for maybe non-Blade fans and not just comic book fans. And again, this is all inference. Like I'm reading into the article that I read,
Yeah.
and this is like 3 different articles that I got these pieces out of. But it sounds to me like there's 3 different factions here as far as the actor, the producers, and the director, and each one they can't agree on where to move forward with this thing.
Well, part of it is the violence that Blade would bring. That seems to be a topic that they keep discussing. Whereas in, you know, there's a lot to push to make it more like that the Wesley Snipes Blade trilogy, as opposed to kind of what Marvel wants to do. They're not saying that they're going to make it a
Trilogy.
PG-13 movie
Mhm.
by any stretch of the imagination, but apparently it's not enough for those that are involved to have it that, I guess, that tamed, right? So I'm curious as if they're just going to scrap this, but obviously the delay, there's something going on with the fact that there's got to be a key component to the rest of the the Marvel universe at large. That if this movie was delayed, it delayed, back half of what, Phase 5 now. Like I don't even know
Well,
what
and
the
they
number is.
said that, right? Didn't
Yeah.
didn't they say that the other three movies that kind of follow this are all now as well kind of in limbo, just based on the fact that this one lost the director, and so now they're like, okay, we don't know where we're going to go. Um, it's not good. It's
Yeah,
not
because
good.
it also changes stuff. I mean, and that who knew that Blade was going to be that impactful to the rest of that phase? That they're now like, well, wait a minute, we got to kind of pause, or at the very minimum, we got to
I
delay 2 or 3 months on these movies.
That's a good point. I hadn't really considered the fact that it would impact it. But I mean, if they've got maybe it doesn't impact it from a story standpoint. Maybe it just impacts it from a scheduling aspect. And
It could.
the same people that are tied up in, fleshing out Blade from a post-production point, right, where they're doing the punch up on all the visual graphics and adding in the CGI, those same people could be tied to these other three projects. And if they're
Yeah,
going to be stuck doing Blade, then they can't move these other three projects forward.
that's possible. That's
Well,
possible.
and it's just a situation too, like Sean basically you're alluding to. We don't have all the details of what's going on.
Yeah.
We say that things are being stopped, but things never really started, right? I think it's probably a little bit more accurate of what
That's true.
actually happened. And I know one of the things I read too is that the lack of action scenes in the movie sounded like it was just more character development, storytelling, and maybe some drama. So it's like they probably read the script and like, this sounds like Prey. We don't want this. Half the people probably walked off.
Oh,
This is crap, right? And then half the people walked away. Anyway, that's just a little dig. But here's the deal. Blade may or may not have been around with Thanos, but is this his version of the blip? Is this what's happening to him right now?
kind of disappearing there,
Yeah.
becoming someone's ashtray.
Yeah, and coming back a few years later.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I was gonna say again. My biggest thing was I didn't realize that this one being delayed would cause such a ripple effect. And to your point, Sean, right? We don't know. I mean, maybe it has to do with producers and other actors, but still, it was a large enough pause that when you stop production, everybody, pulled that break.
Yeah.
Hell, even Deadpool 3, which was just announced, had to announce that they were going to be pushed off by 2 months.
But this is exactly okay. So this is where I'm going to do my callback to my earlier point where I was asking about the impact that the ending of She-Hulk has in regards to the lack of ideas, the lack of diverse ideas as far as how to make this different. Because the Marvel is facing a big challenge right now. They've gone through what was an amazing sprawl of just this beautifully interwoven tale of all these different superheroes in their own independent movies, which you can practically watch independently, right? Like I can sit down and watch all three Captain Americas and enjoy all three of them. I don't have to pause and go, wait a minute, now I got to go watch this one before I watch that one.
Civil War, I mean,
I still enjoy Civil War.
No, you can enjoy it, but I mean, you kind of have to have some
Avengers. Okay,
yeah,
you could typically. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
but for the majority, right? For the most part, you can still watch a lot of these trilogies on their own and enjoy them for what they are. But it's like they still managed to weave them together so well, and also they were so groundbreaking and they were so well told, and everything was so good that here we are in this aftermath, and it's like how do you do that better? Which I don't know that you do. I really don't know that you do, and that's a problem, not for them, but for us And that's, I think, a big distinction. That's a problem for us fans, because how good this was. I've frozen again. We see how good this was, and we're stuck in rose-colored lenses, and you can't see the goodness for what the new shit is. It's still good, but it's more of the same, and you want something different, and that's that variety problem.
So I would have to disagree just a little bit there, just from talking to people who are not comic book nerds, right? Like Unbiased Ann, this would be a perfect topic for Unbiased Ann to be here. But I think actually what I feel like what's happening is it's not that people want something different. When you come off Endgame and then you have WandaVision, naturally speaking, people are comparing WandaVision and Black Widow to what they just saw, which was Endgame. Shang-Chi. He's getting, even regardless if you're doing it on purpose or not. The last thing I saw was Infinity War Endgame, and that was epic and awesome, and I love it. This is what I like. And then
that's my point.
You get more, then you get more character development, and you have to like reset and start over. And the consumer, are having a problem with that piece of it, because it's not that we want anything different. I think we're just unrealistically comparing it to something that we really shouldn't be comparing it to.
I think you and I are saying the same thing in different ways, because that's kind of what I'm getting at, is the consumer, us. We're watching this happen, and Marvel is making some strides to try to do things a little different, and we're not ready for it, because we still compare it to what we just saw, which was so, and Marvel goes, we don't want to do that again. But how do you get past something so impressive to move on to something that has to start building a new, like, you've got to be able to let something build a new base to then become as big, right?
So do you think that's the difference though between something like Warner Brothers and then Disney, where Disney's very much concerned about the mass overall, and DC does tend to focus on its core audience. Jesus. No, but it does make it to that core audience as opposed to the masses at whole.
No, I think people need to start being a little bit more honest on what happened in MCU in phase 1 and phase 2 and things of that nature. A lot of those movies were not great. A lot of those movies were boring. I don't care anything about Captain America in World War II and Nazis. Like, that was not interesting to me. Let's talk about Thor: Dark World. Like, that movie was terrible, right? So let's not.
I think most of us acknowledge that.
Really, I'm going to disagree with Thor: Dark World. I think that got crapped on for the wrong reasons.
Terrible.
It was a bad movie.
Terrible is a strong word. Terrible is a strong word. It wasn't great.
I think
it wasn't even good.
But that's the problem, though. I don't even think it was that. I think it was the phase it came out of. Phase 2 was a lot of strong movies came out, and I think the quality of the movies that we loved in phase 2 is what outweighed Thor: The Dark World, which is why we crap on that movie as much as we do.
It was just a bad movie, but
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
But what I'm saying is to act like all of phase 1 through 3, 4, whatever it is, was just like the greatest, best thing ever made possible. They couldn't have done it better. And no, it's just like the same thing happened. It's just looked at differently now, even though the same thing is happening now.
Kim's comment. That's I mean,
if everything's world ending, then nothing is world ending.
The idea that this can grow exponentially in satisfaction. You cannot have exponential growth of satisfaction over and over and over and over and over again. That's what heroin addicts try to chase. That's what crack addicts try to chase.
No, I don't. No, we don't. No.
Settle down, heroin. They're trying to chase that initial rip. Even smokers. Trust me, I used to smoke cigarettes. I remember the first cigarette I smoked, I was like, man, that was amazing. The second one you smoke, it's diminishing returns. So the idea of diminishing returns is reality. You don't get exponential returns all the time. At some point, you have to have a clean slate. And Point Genesis, coming off this amazing high of what we just saw in Endgame and how cool it was to see that, Marvel is trying to start over. And we as the fans, I don't think are giving them enough chance to do so. But also, in doing that, they have to try to come up with new ideas, and we're just not ready to get those ideas yet, right?
I think the ideas are happening. It's just not appealing to everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. We're not ready for it.
well,
Yeah.
but I don't mean ideas from like how do we end this movie. I mean ideas from let's make a movie with all Asian cast.
I thought that was
That's
great. I thought that
right.
was fantastic.
Exactly.
That was
And it's completely
and that's what that
different.
needed. Well,
Right.
and that's the shame. That's the shame of it, man. The fact that it's different. Like, why are we in this day and age saying that? I mean, for me, it's not different. I watch a lot of Asian films. I
Oh
watch
yeah.
a lot of foreign films,
Sure.
and I mean, like you and I with anime. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're used to that culture. We see
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and for us, it's the norm. But it's not a norm in blockbuster America. It's
No.
not. And the fact that it's not is what blows my mind, because I mean, like, it's so normal the rest of the world. America is a small fraction of what the rest of the world is, and a small fraction of the movie industry worldwide.
Mhm.
I mean, hell, I watched so many Jackie Chan movies growing up. I love that guy, he was just in a new movie recently. Did you know that? I just found it
And
recently.
what?
It was another action sort of kung fu flick. How old is this guy? And
Yeah.
here he is doing more of these. Now, he wasn't doing, I don't think he's doing all his own stunts at this point. And good for him. He shouldn't. He'll probably kill himself. But up to that point, he was the man, right? Actually, no, screw that. He's still the man because of everything that he did and his legacy. But still, I'm blown away at the fact that we have to say that having an all Asian cast is a revolutionary idea. Yeah. You're having a movie called Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
You should, like,
That should be
was
the
a huge-
expectation.
that should be the expectation. The huge misstep of Marvel casting, while I still appreciate Tilda Swinton, casting Tilda Swinton as
The ancient
the Ancient One, because they were afraid of being, told that, hey, that's stereotyping. You can't cast an Asian person. Let's try to be more inclusive and say, all right, instead of casting the Ancient One as to more accurately reflect the character from the comics, also realistically reflect the character from the comics, let's cast it as a bald white woman. And it's like, we're still doing good because we're casting a white woman and I'm like, I get the sentiment and I get what they tried to do, but they were scared of being pigeonholed by saying, well, you just stereotyped an Asian. And it's like, no, I didn't stereotype an Asian. I cast an Asian in that role because the Asian fits that role.
But
And
I think
we need more of that. Like, we need more.
we definitely need more of all of that. But I think it
All
goes
of it,
back
all of it,
to
right.
what I was saying earlier, though, because I think some of the stuff is getting lost in the sauce when we start talking about what we as a consumer is not ready for. It's not that we're not ready for change in how movies end. We're not ready for the specific changes that they are making. Let's see a gay black man on TV. Let's see women with all the power. Let's see smart women.
True Blood.
Because I think it's again, I think it's a situation.
No, like True Blood, the lead character. He one of the brother, cousin, brother, whatever he was,
or cousin. Yeah, I think you're right. Sorry.
What's his name? Start with an L. Damn it. Anyways, also, hey, The Wire. The Wire had
Lafayette. Thank you, Kim.
Lafayette. Yes, thank you. Lafayette was one of the lead characters.
Who actually really did make that show whenever he was on.
He stole every
awesome.
scene he was on.
Yeah.
And then it's not Avon, because Avon was the lead guy. But man, it's a shame. He just recently passed away too, and he was in another good cop drama where he was one of the detectives, and I really like him as an actor. And it's a shame he died.
I think to the point, it's just it shouldn't be. Do me a favor, cast it, be done with it. Don't make a big deal out of it, because we shouldn't. When we make it a big deal, it becomes a big deal for those who don't want it to be a big deal.
Or it feels forced because you're forcing it to be a norm.
If you do it, it's just norm at that point.
Exactly.
No, it can't. Because here's the deal. It might feel forced to you, but I promise you, it does not feel forced to the person that it's appealing to.
Well, so it doesn't. I get what you're saying, and I know exactly what you mean. I think what I'm trying to convey in this is that the people who don't want to see it will make it feel more forced than it is. But
Yes.
you're right. You're absolutely right. Like in our circle, it's easy for us to say, we just want to see this because we want to see it. You know what I mean? We're used to it. We don't care. We have no qualms about it. But you look at the mass on the whole, and those are the ones you have to deal with. A lot of fringe, a lot of an extreme where there's
Well,
no
I think what it's bringing out though, and what it's showing is that the people who have these biases, they're not as fringe as we think they might be.
Exactly.
I think that's what's happening here.
There's part of that. There's also the fact that media is so accessible. I mean, look at us, the three of us, right? We're in our homes. We're broadcasting to people that probably don't want to hear this bullshit. Because they're like, why the hell the three of you? Hold on. No, I'm not done yet.
Hold on. Just for Bruce. Bruce, we're going to start this whole thing over.
So there's welcome to Vagabond Nerds. Check out Titan Comics, accoutrement.
I'm Genesis from Reversion TV.
We're 33% more.
We're 33% more. Yeah, there we go. All right, so covered all that. Now, to begin with, let's start talking about social differences. No, you're right, man. You're right. It's like, but people, I think it seems more like there's more of it. Also, because the people with the loudest voices are the ones we hear, and I think that still rings true. But but it doesn't discount the other half of it. There still are a lot of folks that don't speak up that feel that way, and I'm hoping that the further and further we get down the road, that this stuff starts to go away, because change doesn't happen overnight. It always happens over like hundreds of years.
Wait a minute. Rome was built in one day, though, Sean.
That's true. Rome was built in a day. But this hasn't been, right? We've built this up over hundreds of years. So it's like there are still those folks who are out there that remember their own water fountains. And, for better or worse, until that memory of the person who was there and who advocates for that, until that person is gone, and the people that they taught it to and the people that they taught it to, until that slowly fades away, we're going to be struggling with this.
Because like I said, just look at, I mean, I'm just going to name a few. We don't have to get into it. Little Mermaid, Eternals, Captain Marvel.
Eternals. What was Eternals? What did that
Oh, it got what's it called?
Playing with him and his husband in it. I cannot remember in Eternals.
Really?
Yeah, that
was an issue.
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
Buzz Lightyear. I'm just naming these things here.
But that really struck me. I saw the Little Mermaid trailer and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, what a beautiful voice!" Like it didn't even, just the hatred for it, that she's not white, and I just want to sit there and be like, "It's a cartoon. Who cares?" I'm like, "What is wrong?"
If you're gonna dislike the movie, I'm sorry, or if you're going to automatically discount the movie, do it for a reason that has nothing to do with race or sex or religion or anything. Do it from an honest perspective where it's like, hey, stop rehashing movies that you've already done that were animated just because you can do it now with live action people. That's always well, I have no issue with the fact that she's black. I don't care. Like, go make that movie. Like, fine, do it.
Well, so two things. Kim, they were big mad about Lightyear.
I never heard this Lightyear thing.
They were big mad.
I know people personally who are like, I can't believe it. I'm like, it's just
why?
Freaking. And it's over one sentence. It's a throwaway line, isn't it?
What was it?
Well, I mean, I think there's the lesbian couple in the movie, right?
But it's like quick. Yeah. It's over.
I love lesbians. They're fantastic.
but
people were upset about that.
Yeah. But two.
I don't know why.
But the second point, it's a situation though where if you don't like it because of this X, Y, and Z thing,
don't say
it. Why do you even need to comment on it?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you even need to hate on that, or why do you even need to make up things that you don't like about the movie just so you can say you hate the movie for other things that's not related to that? It's just be quiet and go away.
How is it directly affecting your life in such a way that your day-to-day workings
Sean,
are
it throws me off balance, man. That's their argument. It throws me off balance. It's not right. It's not this. It's not that.
Well,
it's not my Batman, Sean.
There's literally a million other movies to go watch, like or TV shows.
I'm gonna say it. Fuck your Batman.
There you go, right there. Because you have the power to do things like change the channel, turn the radio off, don't look at the internet.
Go find something else to watch.
It doesn't have to be about you.
Go find something. Yeah, go find something else to watch, and then let other people develop their own ideas and become their own person and have their own lives.
Bruce, I'm always glad when you play the pizza boy in that movie, by the way. You would think so, Kim. You would think it would be that simple, but people are stupid. We're all stupid at some point, but what was the line from Men in Black? The individual is smart, but people are dumb, slow animals, or whatever.
Tommy Lee Jones. People as a group are slow, stupid, Yeah, whatever his line was, that was fantastic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that I make this look good.
No, Genesis.
Well, I mean, that goes unspoken, sir. Okay. you don't need to say that. Like, again, I got you. Stating the obvious. Like, come on. We're not
Captain Obvious.
Compliments like Ray. Right.
That's right. I don't ever get compliments. It's fine. I'm the hideous chud. Ask Sean. The Crow apparently wrapped filming.
I didn't even know it was filming.
I had heard that they didn't tell anyone. Do you think? And I'm only kind of half serious, but I am a little serious. Do you think they didn't say anything about the start of filming or anything like that because they didn't want to jinx it, given the production problems, the horrible sequels? Like, they just wanted to say, we think we're going to have this actor, we think we're going to have this director, we might do something, and then the next thing you know, they're done.
Is it going to be a Brandon Lee cameo? If not, I don't want to see it.
I hope there's not. That'd be pretty
creepy.
Gruesome.
No, but the one thing that I am hearing that I will appreciate about this is they are smart enough not to mimic the Brandon Lee version. They want to stay closer to the graphic novel, and the graphic novel, for those who read it, it is a different movie. It is a different story. It's the same plot, but that storyline is completely different.
Well, it's less. I think that the phrase "less mainstream" doesn't even really do it justice, honestly. But then again, I just got done watching Dahmer, so maybe it is, because apparently that's one of Netflix's highest grossing shows, launched. But production problems. Kim, I think this reboot has been in the works, if I'm not mistaken, since 2002. Somewhere around, it was early 2000s. It might have been 2006, but it was 2000s.
It's been at least 10 different scripts, and everyone from
10 different scripts and like 4 different main actors attached to the project. They had
including Momoa.
Sorry, Genesis. They had Mark Wahlberg attached to it at one point. They had Bradley Cooper attached to it at another time. Which, Bradley Cooper? Are you freaking kidding me? As Eric Draven? Like, what the hell are you gonna do? What in the hell? Like, what? Who? Why? Damn it, Bobby! Why would you put that together? I'm
ridiculous. So glad we're going to have that somewhere in the ether. That's just always cool when you.
It just needs to be in the beginning of every show.
Yeah. What the hell?
I cannot. Yes, Nick Cage. Exactly.
Jason Momoa. He was the last one before Bill Skarsgård.
Eric Draven with a Rocket Raccoon voice. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, but Bill Skarsgård. Can we just give a little bit of love to a family of actors that is
all prestigious and all
not diverse. Obviously, they're as white as white gets. They're like Scandinavian. Yeah. But what I mean by that is diverse.
They're uncut. They're pure.
They're pure. Jesus Christ, right? Oh. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the thoughts expressed by Raymond Perez are not those of the Vagabond Nerds show.
I can say that on 1/16. Go ahead.
So they are an amazing acting family. Andor. I mean, Skarsgård is the senator in well, not the senator. I mean, he's the art dealer in Andor. He's the oldest brother of the rest of them. mentioned True Blood earlier, you know, and Skarsgård's in that one too. Like, there's a Skarsgård, you know, you probably didn't realize there's a Skarsgård in your favorite franchise.
At least one.
At least one.
At least
somewhere.
one.
But yeah, that's an amazing amazing actors, family of actors. Really, they're all impressive. So.
But you know, the other rumor with that is it's not a movie. It's a potential miniseries on, I think, Hulu.
You said that.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Who's producing this. Like, where's the production? Do we even know? Because they filmed it. Do we even know who produced this?
Again, this thing was so.
Because it went through
under the radar.
It went through Reality Media or Relativity. Anyways, they went bankrupt. That was the early 2000s stuff. That was even 2012. And then I guess Sony was trying to get the rights of it. And then I know at one point, Rapey Weinstein had his shit going on with it, and they were fighting over somebody else with it, but they lost the rights to it. He deserves that, by the way.
So his real name
deserves worse.
He gets. But yeah, it's like I never heard that it was filming. And Ray, to your point, I really think it's because they didn't want to jinx it, because they've been talking about this movie for like 18 years. And the fact that it finally got done filming. Now we just got to see if anybody died during filming.
And if we would have known about it, that would have been big. The Crow curse continues or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Kim, if it pops up on the CW, I think I'll cry. I'll go back and watch the Boreanaz one again if that happens. I've tried to watch all the sequels to The Crow. I've gotten through a collective 30 minutes combined of all of them.
I watched the second one in the theater.
The second one irritated me the most because it actually had the potential to be better than the first.
It did.
That's what irritated me about that one, and it went off the rails.
Do you know why it had the potential to be, in my opinion, better than the first? The bad guys were more like they were more sadistic, and it fit more to that graphic novel style. It had the ability to be worse. Which, let's face it, the story is a terrible one. Not terrible as in bad, terrible as in like a horrible human story about how awful people can be to each other.
The tragedy behind it and everything. And the fact, again, opening up, I thought it opened up strong with the fact that we're talking about a father and son this time.
That's true.
It was just,
Yeah, I don't think I'm old enough to appreciate anything Crow related. So,
Bruce, that's a tie. It's a tie.
No. I like Bruce's game. I think we need to play that game more often on this show.
What's the worst franchise?
No, not just what's worse. Which would you prefer? Or what will you take over the other one?
What would you rather not be tied to a chair and forced to watch?
No, you don't even get tied to. You just have to watch it. It's your own choice, so you have to make the choice. There's no tying anybody to anything.
No, Kim already did that to me with the Eternals. So like,
this sounds like a movie. This sounds like a something Saw or something like a.
I mean, it's not it's not Clockwork Orange. We're not taping people's eyes open to watch.
That would be a fun.
You
either fall off your leg or you watch Starship Troopers 3.
I listen. Starship Troopers is campy and fun and dumb and it is satirical in its own right, and that's why the movie is so amazing, because the director, RoboCop, Total Recall, he did it as a satirical take on fascism. And it's just the same. It's the same way that Monty Python would have done their own things. Like, it's meant to be ironic. And so once you know that and you watch it that way with that in mind, the movie becomes better.
It becomes something else.
Which, I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine, my friend, we've talked about this so many times. He and I freaking love this movie. We love everything this director's done because of how satirical he gets on fascism. And not in like a good hooray fascism way, but like a, hey, this is crazy. Can you even believe that people believe this shit?
Yeah.
And how wild it is that people believe it can just fall in line with that kind of shit. Not that would happen today.
Of course not.
And so it's a fascinating take on it, and it's I don't know. We love that shit. And the fact that when we watched that movie, even as kids, we got it. You know what I mean? Like we saw it, we got it. And then a lot of critics were like, it's terrible. It doesn't work. It's a horrible movie. It's this and that and that. And it's like, no, dude, you have to see it for what it is. There's deeper aspects to this thing here, and you're not picking up on it. Yeah. Anyways.
Kim, no. Halloween Ends and Nope are on my list for this weekend. So hopefully, everyone I've talked to about Halloween Ends, they're on either side. They either loved it or they hated it. I've yet to see someone in the middle that just said it was okay. So don't know.
They are going to keep doing Halloween until Jamie Lee Curtis is literally in her hospice bed, and they're going to have a damn scene with her in her hospice, like her real hospice bed. Not that she's acting it. She's going to be in her hospice bed. Her family, her real family is going to be around her, and they are going to be cast in this movie just so they can say, we've got Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. I'm sick of this franchise. I hope it dies a horrible death.
Jamie Lee Curtis has said, absolutely, this
I love
isn't
Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is fantastic. I hope Halloween dies.
It's called Halloween Ends.
It's called Halloween Ends, so it has to be over.
How many other times has it ended?
I will find out. Well, yeah, but you also got to blame this last group on Blumhouse for saying, hey, you know what we can do?
No, I don't have to blame anything else but the franchise. The people who own the rights to that thing need to be like, hey, no, seriously, can we stop, please?
I gotta be honest, out of all the slashers there, whether it was, Voorhees or Krueger or whatever, I have a soft spot for Myers, man. I don't know. The Halloween stuff, even the crappy sequels, man, I've always just had fun with.
Genesis, this is one of those times where this is a perfect example. I love the originals. I love them. The first one, fantastic. I am so tired of this just being shit after shit after shit after shit after shit.
Well, we talked about this last time. No, you don't have to watch them.
Yeah. I know, and I'm not going to.
Kim, you don't even have to make me watch this one. I want to watch this one, but I do have to be honest. I do believe that when I watch Halloween Ends and Nope, I'm gonna have to probably end up saying that Nope will be the better movie.
Now, Nope. I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet. Is that out, by the way?
That's out on streaming. Yeah.
Streaming now. Okay, because that is one I do want to check out. I love. I do love a sci-fi horror, especially anything aliens. Yeah, it's good. So
with Jordan Peele, there will be some type of social underlying aspect to it, which will make it even better.
Jordan Peele's stuff is.
Can we get Jordan Peele to do Blade? Can we make that call? Feige, can you pick up that phone?
I don't know, because that Multiverse of Madness wouldn't. I think we're gonna get a weird version of a movie that we might not actually want.
I don't know.
But you have a good. That's a good question though. Do you think Jordan Peele would be a good?
I don't think Jordan Peele will ever do anything that he doesn't want to do. That's
that's not
franchise or major thing.
But that's not the question, right?
Call again, Bruce.
Do you think Jordan Peele would do a good job as a director for Blade, or do you think it would be do you think it would fit Marvel? Do you think or do you think it would be too much of a shakeup to where it would never fall in line with the way Marvel?
I think he could do it. I mean, you got Ryan Coogler, who came out and did the first Black Panther, which was fantastic. He was used to doing independent stuff, right?
Well, no, it's not just that it's independent. It's that Jordan Peele has an amazing, intriguing movies, and I don't think they fit the mold.
It's the full creative control.
Yes. And that's my point. Do you think he could do that? Do you think he could give that up and do it?
I would love for him to do it. I don't think he could do it because exactly that. Marvel does have.
Do you think we'd even want to see that?
I would.
I mean, I wouldn't, again, just based off the Multiverse of Madness. I don't want to see someone with a very specific style come in and just make some kind of weird movie, or at least half of a weird movie.
But you're talking about Raimi, who does have a very specific style. Snyder, very specific style. Spielberg, absolutely. Don't care what you say, very specific style. Peele, I gotta hand it to him. Though the style and underlying social commentary that runs through his movies are always there, each movie has been a little bit different. It hasn't really informed us. If I don't tell you who the director is, could you guess the movie? Could you guess the director?
He hasn't.
I think so.
He hasn't hit.
I
He
think so.
hasn't hit Tarantino level yet, where he's a parody of himself and playing
Yeah.
his own shit over and over again. Which, again, not to say that Tarantino isn't an amazing director. He did some really amazing stuff in his early career, but he kind of ended up being that I'm going to do this over and over again because people expect it of me. That repetition. But yeah, I don't know that Peele's. I think I have to agree. I don't know that Peele is there. I think he's been doing a good job mixing it up. Like I couldn't tell that it was Peele. I don't think I could tell.
I think I could, because just if you just take the movies that are out, are they like any other movies that you've ever seen? I can't really pinpoint other movies where it's just like, oh, this is just like that movie, and it's just like I can't really, yeah.
So yeah, it's what you're saying is almost like it's the Miles Davis of it. It's the notes you're not playing, and because it's the notes you're not playing, you can tell that it's him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so okay, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I could see that as I could see that.
And not saying that you're wrong, Kim, with the talking about how it's filmed, and the way they're shot. This is a lot of.
That's a director style, though. That is that, and everybody's gonna have a when they're doing the whole thing.
You voguing?
Yeah. No, they fucking
Vogue.
Blocking. You know how this works. You've written comic books before. Take your hat out of your ass.
Oh, how about that? I'm sitting better too.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are the two that are on the agenda for me. I still have Bullet Train, which I haven't seen either, which I've been wanting to see.
That's the Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, I think.
Yeah, the Brad Pitt one. I want to see that as well. If that's out now as well, we might have a movie night tonight. We'll see what happens.
Not that we're going to go through all the trailers, because we're over time, as we always are.
Yeah.
But Silent Night with David Harbour, which is basically John Wick as Santa Claus. That movie has no right to be made. Should not do good. I want to see every bit of this flick, though, because
John Leguizamo is the bad guy.
Yes.
Listen. I want to see this. I really want to see it. I don't think I'm gonna see it in theaters because it's not a movie that has to be seen in theaters.
No.
But I definitely want to see this be fun and stupid, and that's a good thing to just like enjoy the ridiculousness of something because you're not stuck in the world.
100%, Kim.
I'm over here playing around watching this dumb stuff, and I don't think about all these. Yeah, exactly. I don't think about all these terrible things. Plus, it could be a slightly heartwarming story with Santa talking to this little girl and talking her through this thing. It's Die Hard with Santa Claus. It just really is.
Bruce, I'm gonna take your comment out of context and just post it. That can go for a lot of different subjects that we've covered today.
Jordan Peeler. Damn it. Sorry. That's great.
Genesis made a good point. If you haven't yet, see the teaser trailers for the final season of Picard and the next season of Discovery. I kind of hand it to the individuals who are
Die Hard is a Christmas movie, Kim. Sorry,
yes,
keep going.
I
was saying that, by the way, before it was popular.
Oh yeah, same here. Well, we
had that conversation a long time ago. We had that conversation before it started popping up on social media, and as soon as it popped up, I felt a little shunned here. I was like, I honestly feel like I came up with this, and you bastards stole me.
Should have got the shirt copyrighted.
Yeah, I should have copyrighted that shit. I really should have.
But
what was I thinking?
What they're doing over at Paramount with the Star Trek shows, kind of impressed by. I like Discovery. I'm loving Star Trek. Picard season 2, it's a little bit hard to watch. We'll see season 3.
The trailer for season 3 looks good. I wish this would have been season. I wish this would have been season 1.
Well, and it's also nice to know that this is the final season. They have a beginning, middle, and end.
Oh, that's good.
But usually your second season is supposed to be the carry on. But it looks like it's going to go backwards. I'd rather them end on a high note.
First
So-
season was amazing.
First season was amazing.
First season of Picard was amazing. I liked it. No, I liked it.
Those first
I did.
2 episodes I thought were great.
Listen, so again, Genesis, part of the reason I like a lot of these things is because I like the actors and the actors who are acting in it.
But the show was bad. It's like the actual product was bad. Though.
Okay.
I agree that more going into season 2.
I mean,
I don't think season 1 was that bad.
It's to the point where they're doing a full reset. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but
yeah, it's also been a long time since I've seen that first season. So maybe if I went back and watched it a second time, my mind would change. But what I remember from me watching it when I watched it was I'm enjoying this.
It was cool to see the people.
Mm-hmm.
The show was just bad. The writing, the story, like all this other stuff was just bad. The acting from the non-TNG characters was horrible. Like,
I wanted to talk about one more trailer, but I don't want to have this lead in for it.
No, all right. No, what's the other? All right, what's the other trailer?
The last trailer I would say to watch is our boy Ben Dunn with his Warrior Nun season 2. That trailer just dropped. So as always, congrats, Ben. This is your baby. But that looks like a solid season 2 coming up. Season 1 was surprisingly well done. I think even Ben would admit that it's not. The origin is there, but obviously it's a different than his book was. But
he said that on the show when we had. He
said that on our show, that's right? Yeah.
He was like, and what he said was, "I love it." He even said, he goes, "It's not where I would have gone with it," and well, it's not where he did go with it. But his comments, I think, were, "It's not where I went with it, but I see where what they're doing." And he said it's really good. So I think he did still say that he enjoyed it.
So those are a couple of quick hits. I will be watching Black Adam next week. Genesis, you doing the same?
I'm still on the I don't want to sit next to complete strangers because of COVID. I'm still in that boat. So I don't get my tickets until like the day of the early release. So Thursday morning, I'm going to get on and see what's available. And then I'll pick up the tickets and go. The plan is to go. I just don't have my tickets yet.
Can I tell you, I'm still buying extra seats to keep the seats next to us.
Really?
Empty. Yep.
Rich.
He's got his moat, man. He's got to take his moat with him from the house.
You're just a rich man.
That's it.
I will buy an extra seat when me and the kids go on each one. But it's because of that, man. And not only that, but because I don't want to be next to the armchair stealer or, I can hear you crunching your popcorn.
The last couple of times I've been, there's a lady. There's always a lady next to me, and she brings a blanket, and she throws the blanket over herself, and she throws it over my armchair, and then she's always putting her candy and her drink in both arm cup holders next to it. I'm like, bitch, these aren't both yours. Yeah. Like I have some space here too, and I'm just like, and then I don't know.
You're looking at this wrong. She's trying to share. Just take some of the candy and just start eating.
She's got a husband. She could share with him. I've got a wife. I'll share with mine. But she needs to keep her shit off my shit.
Hey, what did you just put up, Ray? If the money's right.
I'm just saying, man. You know what song's that, Sean? Bruce, I only did that twice. Kidding, Bruce. I didn't do that.
He's
a rich man.
Whatever.
You know what? That is something I want to do though. With
we talked about it.
I think we should do it.
We talked about doing renting out a theater for like a family event and like having all of our getting together and
our close
like
ones. Maybe a couple of people on this chat. Kim, if you're in the area, we'll either rent a theater.
But yeah, so I don't know. My father-in-law wants to see it. I want to see it. I'm not sure if my wife wants to go to the theater. So I mean. He's retired now, so we can go whenever we want. Is basically.
Hey, Sean, I have an extra seat.
No, because I'm not going to be your COVID buffer. So, we'll see. I'll see when I get around to checking it out. I hope that I get to watch it before our next show. Actually, so hold on. What is our next show?
Our next show is aiming for the weekend of Halloween, the 29th.
Well, so Halloween's on Monday, but 29th would be the day. We'll see.
Halloween weekends.
Yeah. We'll see.
Which I'll tell you what. Let's. I'm going to say it now. Let's definitely talk Werewolf by Night because I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either. Haven't seen it yet either. But I've been seeing little online pop up about it and how people are talking about, oddly enough, like Fantastic Four, I think, as a result of it. Am I
don't
wrong
know.
about that?
I don't know. I've stayed spoiler free from that. So
So have I. I have no clue. I just saw people were like, after Werewolf by Night, we really need the Fantastic Four or something, and I'm like, why the f do you need that? Like, I don't get it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't understand why people. I don't get why people are making that correlation. So I'm looking forward to watching it.
Unless it's just bad and they're actually comparing it to the Fantastic Four movies that came out 10 years ago. 10, 15 years ago. It's just like, this is as bad.
That's a fun series to watch now, but just to poke fun of. Like, just say that's kind of how I feel about that. I think Jason might be back with us. You might be seeing some rehashed characters from today's show. I have no clue, but certainly, I guess let's start signing off since we've only gone about 20 minutes over.
Yeah, I gotta go out and I gotta do my yard work, man.
Yeah,
come on.
I gotta go pay someone to do my yard work. So, Sean, see you at my house in about an hour.
Damn.
You do your own yard work. I'm my own yard work person. I don't get paid for that shit. You go do your own shit.
Well, that's why I'm taking care of you, man. I'll buy that seat for you.
Right. Yeah, right. All right. Whatever.
Genesis, thank you so much, as we are 33% more.
33% more.
33%
Free.
More.
For free.
For free.
33% more free. We'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
Sean, any parting comments? Genesis, any parting comments besides be nice and be friendly to each other out there, folks?
Yeah, that's it. Be kind. Be excellent to each other.
Oh, there you go. Party on, dude.
That's it.
Go see Jeremy if you get the chance. Address below in Dallas. Comics.com. And as always, we will see you back here. Sure, 2 weeks?
Whenever.
You never know. Not like we posted the show, but hey, till then, we'll see you next time.